Hello, welcome to week 2 of Technical English. First off, I just want to thank everyone for being so punctual and completing all of their assignments last week. I thoroughly enjoyed reading your online discussions and really looking at your photographs, which you shared with me, either your personal lives, whether it was families or, hobbies. I really enjoyed getting to know you in this more kind of, one-on-one manner. Also, your emails, those have been very informative and formal, so I appreciate you sending those to me. And as far as your emails to a supervisor or manager, I've looked at a few of those, and as a whole, y'all are doing a really good job. Now, as far as the grades for those assignments, okay, I'm going to be later on emailing you through Canvas a scanned copy of each of those assignments. I'm kind of old school. I like to print out my assignments and then I write all over them, okay? And then you're also going to have a rubric that's going to be graded, and I'm going to scan all 3 of those assignments and you will receive those through an email later this week, okay? I just ask that you usually try to give me between a week to a week and a half to finish grading your assignments, because I really try to be as thorough as possible in, writing that information as far as feedback, what you do well, what you need improvement on your actual assignments. All right, well, let's transition into week 2. Now, for week 2, you have 3 assignments. The first assignment is the letter of inquiry, okay? The second assignment is a sales letter, and the third assignment is our first grammar lesson and also a grammar quiz associated with that. I would encourage you, as always, you're going to notice I already have our checklist up. Just remember to scroll down to week 2, and you're going to print out or save our online weekly checklist. Again, you're going to notice on that checklist, I have listed those assignments. Now, try to remember that the numbers, they match up with the modules. Do the assignments preferably in the order I have them listed. They just kind of build upon each other. So, and also the due dates. You're going to notice the letter of inquiry is due Wednesday night. The sales letter is due Thursday night. And then, of course, the grammar quiz 1 is going to be due Saturday night. So that's the reason I have them ordered. Make sure to look at all of the modules that I have listed here. Also, as I mentioned last week, if I ever have handouts on assignments, please make sure that you look at those. Those are the written instructions of how you're supposed to do each of these assignments. Don't just dive in to doing the assignment before you read the instructions, okay? Because I usually also have kind of scenarios of how you can complete the assignments. And also in these modules, I have examples for you as well. So let's start out with your first assignment. So your first assignment is a letter of inquiry. Now, an inquiry is essentially you asking someone about something or for something. You're going to notice if you click on that letter A, that handout, this is going to be the handout which overviews the letter of inquiry assignment. Again, in many ways, as far as letter of inquiry, it is a business letter where you're going to be inquiring to someone, and maybe, an individual, or it may be someone that's representing a business or a corporation, and you are inquiring or asking about a service, product, person, or even job position. Now, as far as what you're going to be doing, you are going to be typing a business letter, which in this case will be a letter of inquiry, in either Microsoft Word, Microsoft 365, or in Google Docs. Now, just ensure you kind of follow some of these scenarios, okay? These are different scenarios. You're just going to choose one, and you're going to notice that I do note at the bottom here that if you have another scenario that maybe you're going to see yourself in, maybe in an inquiry letter that you need to write maybe next week or next month, or maybe you can foresee writing a letter of inquiry in your future job, just email me so I can approve that that's, an acceptable topic or scenario for this particular assignment. So these are some scenarios that you could choose for writing your letter of inquiry. Let's just imagine that you are contacting a business because you want to inquire if that business has any available job positions, okay? Now, this is not a cover letter. We're going to be writing a cover letter later this semester. This is you just kind of touching base for the first time and contacting that business, just see if they have any open, positions. Also, this is your chance to kind of introduce yourself and also show how you're qualified for this particular position. Maybe it might be college degrees that you have, licensures that you have, work experience. Okay. This is where you need to mention that. And touch base and just ask if they could contact you if there's any available positions. Okay. Another scenario is maybe you want to contact a business to see if they offer any certain services or products. This could be even something in your personal life. Okay. If you're curious about a particular business and if they offer some type of service because you need that service, maybe you're going to contact a garage and see if they offer a particular automotive service. Okay. Maybe you're going to contact an individual and see if they offer a particular service that you need, like if you're planning a wedding and you need to find out about the available cakes that they have for, catering services, things like that. So it could be something in your personal life, not just in your professional life. Also, picture yourself as a small business owner, because I know some of you own businesses and some of you may want to own a business in the future. And imagine you're going to write a letter of inquiry, just, asking if someone would be interested in your service or products. Okay. This is kind of your way to reach out to others, maybe people in your neighborhood or in your community, to inquire if they are interested in your services or your products that you have. In some ways, this is a bit of a marketing type of letter. It's not going to be a sales letter, but it's going to be you just introducing yourself, your business, your service or products that you have. In many cases, you see these sometimes mailed out to introduce a new business to a community, okay? Just to kind of inform the community and the people within it that this is a new business that's opened up and a new possibility for services that are available. Also, another scenario you could have is envision yourself in a management position, okay? Because one day you may want to be a supervisor, and you have received a job application from someone that wants a job within your business. You may want to compose a letter of inquiry to one of the applicant's references, because in many cases, when you're in a supervisor position, you're going to get stacks of resumes and cover letters, and those are going to have references. You are going to have to reach out to those individuals. Sometimes you do it by phone to verify the information that the applicant gave, who their last supervisor was, their last job, and, because you need to ensure that they're legitimate. But you also may be tasked to write an inquiry letter to mail to the actual applicant's reference to find out more information. And you may need to await a letter back from that reference to ensure that this person is legitimate, that they actually were a good employee, and that you want them within your business, okay? Because you may not always get that glowing recommendation. Sometimes, sadly, some applicants, they put references down that they don't even ask permission to actually reference. So you need to ensure this is actually someone that is recommended by the person that is listed on that particular cover letter or application. So as I mentioned, it doesn't necessarily have to be any of these scenarios. You can come up with another scenario. Just make sure this is a letter where you are inquiring, you are asking about something, and that something, again, maybe a product or a service, or it could be a someone, okay? So as far as the format, you do need to ensure that this is a business letter structure. Again, as I mentioned, this needs to be in Microsoft Office, Google Docs, or Microsoft 365. You are going to submit this to Canvas as a document. I did want to make sure that you understood, if you use Microsoft, I'm going to go to my Microsoft, because many students don't realize this. If you go to Microsoft Word and you go up here, I'm going to make my screen a little bigger. If you search for the online templates, you can click up here and type business letter. Many students don't realize this is in the Microsoft Word, also the Office 365. If you search, it's going to give you templates that you can use for a business letter. I wouldn't do anything too busy. Try to choose one of the more simplistic kind of formats. Also, if you're working at a particular business or corporation, they may have their own letterhead that they have a template for you. So just make sure, that you have an appropriate business letter structure. And also, I have several different examples for you. I want you to make sure to look at those. You're going to notice there's just basic information about business letters as a whole, okay? Make sure that you look at underneath that module 1, the business letters, writing that works. That's just overviewing business letters as a whole, and then it transitions into, of course, specifically business letters and the types that we're going to be writing, which are inquiry letters. If you want to see some specific examples, look under letter D. These are all letter of inquiry examples. Use these as a reference, but just make sure that you use a standard business letter structure, which these modules are going to have that. And also, if you go to Microsoft Word and ask for the template, it's going to give you that as well. Just make sure if you use the templates that you fill in the information that's required and you remove the information. You don't want to have recipient's name and that be in the letter. You want to actually put the recipient's name, the person you're sending this letter to. Don't leave the format in there. And also, don't forget to proofread, okay? Grammar and content are very important. If you're inquiring about a job, you don't want to have grammatical errors, or you're going to go in probably the reject pile, and you don't want to ever be in the reject pile. If you ever want to send drafts of any of our assignments just for me to give you initial feedback, you can do that if you want to do it through, Google Docs. If you'll share your letter through Google Docs with me, you can share it through my Google account, which is ashleydSummerall@gmail.com. I can go ahead and look at it for you and give you feedback before the due date. But just ensure you do that in a timely manner, not everyone doing it the day that the letter is due. But as a whole, just remember, okay, this is a letter of inquiry. You are inquiring about someone or something, okay? Take your time. And again, this can be an actual scenario that you have, can foresee yourself encountering, or it can be a hypothetical scenario. I don't want you to think this necessarily has to be a letter you even send out, but I don't want this to be a wasted assignment. If this is a letter that you could actually see you actually physically sending, if it's for a business that you have or a job that you foresee yourself, one day working in, then do that. So this is an assignment that's going to be really beneficial to you. All right, the second assignment is the sales letter. Now, the sales letter, you can probably guess, it's a marketing letter. You're attempting to sell something to a customer. As I mentioned, okay, make sure to always follow on our checklist all the modules. This assignment's going to be due on Thursday. Look at all the information that I have available to you, like the handout. Okay, just for example, here is our sales letter handout. Okay, again, this is a marketing letter. You are going to be creating a sales letter again in Microsoft Word. You can again do the template for the business letter, or Google Docs or Office 365, and you're going to be advertising or promoting a service or a product in this business letter. Okay, you need to learn to do this, especially if you're going to be working within, any professional setting, okay? I, at times, as an English instructor, have had to create documents that market our English classes because we want students to come into our courses. Now, I mentioned some of the modules and handouts that you need to look at. Now, just make sure you use maybe one of these scenarios, and if you want to go off these two scenarios, just make sure that I approve it. First off, imagine that your manager, so you're going to be a worker, okay, in a business scenario. Your manager, your boss or supervisor has tasked you with composing a sales letter where you're going to overview a new service or product that your business has available. And again, it's your way to inform the community of this new service or product, and you want to sell it to them. Why is this something someone should be interested in? Also, you have another scenario. Envision that you are in the manager or supervisor role, and your business owner, the franchise owner potentially, has requested that you write a sales letter that advertises a promotional offer. Maybe there's a certain percentage that's being deducted from certain services or products, or a buy one, get one free promotion. Again, this can be a scenario that actually you've had on the job or one that you could foresee having, okay? Just remember, you want to market. You can use images as well. If you want to have images of the product, Okay, if it's a product you're selling, you might want to have a photograph of it. Okay, or you can just merely overview it. Okay, again, make sure it's a standard business structure. Okay, and you may want to look at these examples. Okay, I have some really good resources from the balancesmallbusinesses.com that show you examples of sales letters, but also there's a sales letter example here. Make sure to look at those, and as always, ask me questions. Okay, thank you.